Good morning, everybody. Hope are we all doing? Let's give it another few minutes, let people join. Playing it. That means you can obviously watch it back or share it with colleagues. So this webinar is our monthly installment of the design and construction technology series that we run typically on the first Friday. Last week was Good Friday, and we moved it to this Friday, so that's why we're doing it on the second Friday of this month. But typically it's the first Friday every month, and you're signed up to attend all of them if you signed up once. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. Number 2. On the screen and presentation as well, just a couple of slides. So what I'm going to do is just very briefly introduce myself. Oh, thank you, Peter. That's good to know. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, my name is Jonathan Reinhardt. For those of you that may not have attended any of these before, I'll just very briefly introduce myself. So I'm sure some people may know who I am already, just from previous ones. My background is a chartered architectural technologist. I've worked in the architecture industry since probably 2005. About 2005. And then studied architectural technology, then did a master's in BIM management. And then I work full time for Diatech as a BIM consultant and Autodesk specialist. And then I also teach in the evenings as well in TU Dublin on some of their BIM courses, and then do a couple of other things as well. So that's just to get a sense of where I'm coming from. But today I'm implementing these technologies that I'm going to talk about to you this morning. And what we're talking about today is effectively we're going to look at is the reporting functionality inside Autodesk Construction Cloud. So as those of you may know already, Autodesk Construction Cloud, very quickly I'll say, it's made up of a couple of different products: Autodesk Dock, Autodesk Takeoff, Autodesk Build, we've BIM Collaborate Pro, and all of that makes up Autodesk Construction Cloud effectively, all of those different products. If you have an AEC collection, you more than likely have Autodesk Docs. You actually do have Autodesk Docs if you have an AEC collection, just to make you aware. Not a lot of people understand that or know that effect came in about a year or so ago. That gives you that access to Autodesk Docs. And the entire Autodesk Construction Cloud is built on top of Autodesk Docs. So you can effectively have Autodesk Docs just on its own, and that kind of gives you a folder structure. It's a common data environment effectively for design and construction information. But then on top of that Autodesk Docs, you can add other functionality with additional subscriptions. Things like Autodesk Build for site stage, RFIs, checklists, safety, all that kind of stuff, and commissioning. But you can do pre-construction quantification, and then BIM Collaborate Pro is for that design stage collaboration. You can sync from inside Revit, Civil 3D, and Revit on Plant 3D. Sorry, so that's what that does. But the platform then has a lot of reporting functions. So obviously you can appreciate if you're using any of these elements of the Autodesk Construction Cloud, you've got a lot of information up there. You want to be able to, report on it either out of the box or customize your reporting as well. So today in detail, what I'm going to go through is just reporting. We're not going to necessarily go into all these other good stuff that I've covered on previous presentations. We're just going to look at the reporting and where that sits in the platform, types of reports you can pull from it, how you can customize it, how you can get more from it, and all of that kind of good stuff as well. So reporting in general, if you're just using Autodesk Docs, there's an extensive amount of reporting available inside Autodesk Docs. So, don't worry if you don't have BIM Collaborate Pro or Build or any of that. If you have Autodesk Docs, there's still an extensive amount of reporting in there. I'll show you where that sits now this morning. And I'll touch on something called the Insight panel as well, and kind of admin reporting. So, some of you may be working on site, some of you may be working in design stage, or some of you may be dock controllers in the office, or some of you may be, in fact, in organizations, and you're overseeing a number of projects. So there's reporting at that level as well. It's not just project specific. You can always also see overall across your business. You can pull a lot of reporting. And what I mean by reporting is, safety issues on site. Okay, if we have 50 sites, for example, if you're a contractor or subcontractor, you can see all of the issues across all of your sites, and that can help you to maybe focus resources that need to resolve those issues, or upskill staff or whatever it needs to be. So you're able to get down to the really granular project level inside a room, what type of issues are happening, but you can look at it across your entire organization, across your 50, 100 or 500 projects, or however number of projects you work on, if that's 1 or 2 or 10 or 50 or 100. There's reporting there as part of all of that as well. So that's what I'm going to look at today inside Autodesk Construction Cloud. And most of what I'll look at today is included in docs. Some of it may be kind of nuanced to build for site stage, but I'll kind of point that out once I get into it. Okay, so as usual, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live demonstration rather than just boring you with a presentation. And again, what I'm going to do is, my screen is sharing. So I'm now in my web browser, just to make sure you can see that. Perfect, you can. Okay, so I'm just logging into my Autodesk Construction Cloud. I'm coming in here with my email address, and I'm going to come into some projects that I have available to me inside the platform. So when I come into Autodesk Construction Cloud, it shows me all of my projects. I'm in a web browser. I'm logged in under my email address, and I can even see what my subscriptions are. It shows me what my different types of subscriptions are here. So you can even see I have the AC collection, I've built, I've been collaborated. So I've all of that good stuff to kind of be able to show you guys today. So I've lots of different projects in here, but before I go into any of those projects, what I can actually see from in here, if I have certain access, executive access to the platform, I come into something called Executive Insight. So this is the first kind of reporting point I'm going to show you. I can come into this report Executive Insight panel, and what this is effectively showing me is it's showing me reporting across a number of projects. So it's showing me for the Diatech account. So in your scenario, if you consider your own account, that's what you'd see up there. So this is showing me several projects across the Diatech account. And these are, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects currently in this particular cost summary. And what's actually happening here is this particular cost functionality on these projects is being used to track variations on projects and change in budget and projected budget. And that's what it's showing me across here, across all of my projects. So again, at that higher level, I'm able to see all of that across all of those projects as well. I can customize these dashboards as well. There's lots more I can do there. This is just straight out of the box, purely from a cost perspective. These modules on the left-hand side, these are pre-built, by the way. Anytime you start the platform, you'll have these modules available to you. I can build other reporting dashboards as well. These ones are specifically one for cost. So if I look down here, I'll have other cost-related items if I add them in. I can customize this dashboard by going to customize, go to my card library, and in my card library I can search for different things. So we just want to search for cost items. There's only one cost toolbar in the out of the box function, but I can do Power BI integrations, which I will touch on in some of the other modules as well. So from a cost perspective, that's what I'm looking at in here. So I can search through the different card library inside there as well. That's just from inside there, and I can add in what's known as a card. This is a card here effectively. If I go into the design one, again, I'm seeing all design issues across my projects. Now we've a lot more projects. The cost module is only using 5 projects. That's why we've only used cost on those projects. But then in the design, reporting, I'm in this dashboard now, and I can see across all of these different projects. One could be a hotel, pharmaceutical plants, food plants, anything like that. These are all my different projects here listed here on the left-hand side. These are the same projects that if I go into my project list, I'll see them from my drop-down list here as well. So that's what I'm seeing here. And in this case, it's showing me something called design issues. These relate back to the issues feature inside Docs or inside Build, if you're familiar with that. And again, I'll be going into that in a bit more detail. So what we're looking at here is that overall organization kind of reporting. We'll start to go into a bit more granular level later as well. So this is the kind of project I use most, the sample apartment scheme or airport scheme, depending what way you want to look at it. It's kind of mixed use development I use as a sample project. So I can see I have 52 open issues on that. So, 52 or a high level of number, I can go, okay, well, why is this project performing so well? Why are there such a low number of issues on this project? Why is this particular project have 8 issues? That project is effectively closed or finished. There shouldn't be any issues remaining. So again, it's showing you, you can come in on Monday morning, whatever, look at all your projects, and you know where to, focus resources or focus your time as well. So again, at that high level, it's showing you that as well. And again, I'm able to kind of filter on collapsing that as well, maximize that. Will show me all of the different number of issues as well. So I have 2 pages of projects here, so 24 projects, I think it said. Again, inside this dashboard, I can customize using the card library. I can just click on design card. So these are just reporting. This is just pulling information that exists in the project already. I'm not having necessarily to feed information into this. So at the design stage, then I've something called approval workflows and design issues. And just to show you where these are being pulled from, and just to give you context, I'm going to go into a project just for a moment. So I'm going to show you where that's been pulled from. I'm going to come into that, what is my apartment or airport project. And if I come into issues, that's where it's pulling this information from. So all of the issues I have in here, all of the issues I have inside this project, that's what's being fed inside here, into here. So I have 52 open issues across the project, and they're being pulled in from this issues panel. I currently have a filter on this as well. So the 52 is opened once, it's not showing me answered once, by the way. So that's why the 52 number is there. This project has 195 issues, but if I filter on the open ones, it will be 52. I just have a different kind of filter set for that. So that's where that's pulling it from, and it's the same for any other project. The hotel project here, this hotel project, that's where it's pulling all that data from as well. So that's the design issues. The approval workflows, then, if you're familiar with docs, into docs, the approval workflows is these reviews. So that's, again, if it recognizes that there's reviews in here, again, it automatically feeds here. It will update automatically as well. You don't have to necessarily refresh or anything like that. If I add more reviews in this project, if I create another review, it's automatically updates. So, it's being pushed to you in real time effectively as well. The Power BI, you'll notice this in a lot of my dashboards, and I actually have it set up in another dashboard. So Power BI effectively allows me to push this data, but also other raw data in the project using something called the data connector. I can push that into Power BI in both real time or as a data dump. And if I come into data connector, I can run something called extraction. And this is going to extract an extensive amount of raw data from my platform, from my project. So if I just go to download here, I'm just going to show you an example of what this looks like. Again, we're at that very high, multiple project level at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that folder, miss that folder. So what it does is it downloads the CSV format of all of this information. So what could we look at here? We can look at the checklists that have the assignees to them. I can look at the cost. So this is the raw data that you can potentially push into Power BI. So the reason I point this out is because this dashboarding is not necessarily going to suit every organization, because this is out of the box. It's not necessarily customized. It's just giving you information. But if you did want to go to a deeper level with it, you can use the data connector to run those extractions and then push it into something like Power BI. Then I can link in this Power BI dashboard. I don't have this one live. I do have another one live, and I will show you that in a moment. So that's what the Power BI integration is effectively. You run a data extraction, and it gives you all this raw data. So I can even pull in things like quality issues, so meeting minutes, photographs, reviews, RFIs, submittals. All of this is that CSV data that exists on the project. So if I double click on one of those, it'll show you what that looks like very briefly. So here's all that raw data there that I'm seeing. It's giving me the category of that submittal item, in this case, when it was created, when it was updated. So this is a huge, really, really informative type of level of detail you're able to get as well. It gives you the project ID. So this can potentially allow you to generate different types of information based on this ID. This protects your project name. So from a security perspective, this protects the name of your project effectively if you wanted to have a certain security about it. And then the same account ID, various different IDs. So that kind of helps you, again, protect your information. And then again, lots more raw information here as well that I'm able to plug in. So that's typically what the CSV export looks like. But But as you can see, I mean, inside here, there's, if I do 179 items in there, all different parts of the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform being pulled into these areas as well. So these different items that I'm seeing again is at that higher project level again. I'll reiterate that I can do it at the project level as well. So I'll just show that for the moment, and then I can feed that data in here if I want. So let's go into the quality function as well. But I don't have any quality activity on any of these projects, but this is where you'd see all of that kind of quality activity inside here as well, and the same for safety as well. So that will also feed in there. But I can customize dashboards. So let's say I did want to create another dashboard. I can say, you know, this is a custom dashboard for the CEO of the company, or, you know, maybe the CTO, or someone to see the information, or the CFO, or, you know, a particular dashboard for someone who needs to see that higher level information. I can build them a dashboard in here if I want to as well. And I can add the different types of card libraries. So, you know, I might even put in here a CEO dashboard, for example, that, you know, he or she will then know exactly what they're looking at. So you can design that to suit different personas inside the organization. So if we just save that for a moment. So now that's called CEO dashboard. I could come in here, I could link in my Power BI, and I am actually, let me see, oh, sorry, it's in this one. So I'm going to link in, I do have a Power BI dashboard. So bear with me 2 moments while I put in my password screen. So this is going to show you the Power BI dashboard. So this is a particular Power BI dashboard that's being fed in, you know, and this information can be customized. This is just project users, account admins. So you can have multiple Power BI dashboards, by the way, inside your platform. If I click on this, it's going to bring me into Power BI. For those of you that are not aware, Power BI it's a Microsoft software effectively for data analytics. So it pulls in raw data, puts it into these kind of cool looking graphs, and allows you to customize your reporting as well. So you can see it's actually brought me into Microsoft here as well. There's a question. Some of the dashboards do update live. There's a real-time integrator, and there's a data dump as well. And it's some of the information can update live. Yes, yeah, for that. I'll see if I can send on some more info about that as well. So these are examples of those custom dashboards, and a lot of organizations would build custom dashboards because, you know, projects are quite nuanced, and then even organizations, the information they want to pull can be quite nuanced as well to those organizations, and quite subjective to scenarios and people that need to see it. So again, I can build my different dashboards in here. So that's just the Power BI one, for example. But the CEO he or she can see this information. They can see this information, but they can also add in other cards as well. So there's lots of out of the box cards in here as well. You know, quality checklist, safety checklist, cost summary, specification. But there's also third-party integration, so things like Airtable, Assemble. You know, there's lots of different tools. Box. There's lots of different third-party plugins in here, effectively. So what you can also things like Ignite, which I see being used, Esri, Evercam, as we should be, you know, most of us probably quite familiar with in Ireland. Evercam can integrate. There's a Matterport integration, Google Workspace. So extensive amount of integrations there. It's not just Autodesk. There's Matterport, Miro for kind of brainstorming stuff, and OpenSpace. So lots and lots. You can see it's endless. There's another Power BI dashboard that I can in from there. So again, lots and lots of integrations here as well that I can push into those dashboards. So if you're working with external tools, which most organizations work with lots of different tools, of course, you know, there could be a good integration there for you to use as well in that card library. And that's just from a reporting perspective as well. So I can customize that dashboard. I can choose whichever dashboard I want these individuals to see, or these people to see, or these groups to see. And then I can just add that by, you know, maybe selecting on, I can say, okay, well, I want to add in the auto specs inside here as well. I can add in these cards. So then this is just going to place these cards. I'll save on that. Now, I may not have data in these cards. That's why I'm not using Autodesk or auto specs. That's why there's no data to push in, but they'll appear here with the information as long as they have information connected to it. There we can see Evercam's asking me for a login. So that will show me my Evercam information inside here as well, Assemble information. all I have to do is just log into those particular dashboards as part of that as well. So again, customize all of your dashboards, and again, whatever way it needs to suit your project or needs to suit your organization as part of that as well. And again, I can build other dashboards then as well for other individuals, for other departments in the company as well, again at that higher level, and that's part of that as well. That's the insight panel at that really high level of a project. Again, just to point out, the data connector is available inside here. I can run an extraction, so I can see all these data dumps. These are the raw data dumps, so I need to come in here and run an extraction and then update the Power BI dashboard. But what's also being built, I suppose, between Microsoft and Autodesk is they have built Power BI dashboards as well. So this is where it comes with the live connector. So the CSV template is for pushing in the raw data, and that's you manually downloading it and connecting it to Power BI. If you choose connector template, that will produce that live connection that somebody asked a question about there. That will build that live connection from Power BI inside here, and then these are the dashboards that I can use back inside here. This is just a template that it's giving me, but I can populate any of these inside here. This is actually the one I was using at the CEO dashboard here. And again, I have one for assets, cost management, other types of assets, costs, reviews. These are just templates. You can build your own templates as well. You can build your own templates. These are the forms, checklists, safety, all of that, quality, even design checklists as well. That can all plug in there as well. Yeah, it's quite extensive. They've actually added a lot to this recently as well. Progress tracking, quite extensive, as you can see, the templates. So again, you don't have to use these templates. You can build your own templates. You can customize what you see here as well, for submittals, for RFIs, depending whatever it is that you want to use your particular reporting for as well. And then these cards, you feed them back in here the same way this Power BI one is fed back in here as well as part of that. I can even do filtering inside here as well. By the way, if I've applied filters inside here, I can even click into this on the various items, and it will show me the different information as part of that as well. It will filter down the way Power BI does in the browser or inside your installed software. Once I click on an item, it will then show me that relevant information here on the right hand side as part of that as well. So that's the insight panel. Again, that's at that very higher level of the project or of your account. That's all of your projects. So what about looking at that kind of finer level of detail? So, CEO, CFO, project managers, whoever needs to have a dashboard, you can build that in here. So at that finer level, then, when I log in to Autodesk Trust Cloud, what you saw there initially was it showed me my projects that I'm part of. But something they've added recently or updated recently is My Home. So if I come into My Home, and this is only, it's about a week or two, I would say, what this is showing me as a user, so I could be a subcontractor, I could be a designer, I could be a fire consultant, I could be a mechanical installer or anything like that. I could come in here of a morning and go, okay, well, what's assigned to me, either within my project or multiple projects. And I can see here there's 8 issues that are overdue or assigned to me. I have 4 RFIs, I have 4 submittals, and I have 5 reviews. So I know that they're overdue. So, I need to get on top of things, and I need to start addressing them as well. So I can either dedicate myself or resources to those as well. So this is just showing what's specific to me rather than what's specific to the whole organization at that kind of finer level inside this My Home. But this is across a number of projects. I mean, this could be on 2 or 3 or 5 projects that I'm a part of as a subcontractor, as a designer, whatever the case is as part of that. So again, even shows me recent files that were uploaded, an Excel file, a Revit file. It's showing me that here as well. And again, I can, in the card library, I can add in other details here. I can add in bookmarks, I can add in something called My Projects, and then again, adding in those cards as well. And this is kind of, maybe a site relevant person might use this, on a weekly or morning basis, whatever way they need to access their information. I haven't bookmarked anything. Then it'll show me where all of my projects are as part of that as well, based on the address of the project. So all of these issues effectively are being pulled from these projects that I'm a part of, of that type of reporting. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back into my projects. So what we looked at there was that executive insight of that all, lots of projects across an organization. I then looked at maybe at the individual level of what one person might need to see on a daily basis, depend on their level in a company, or, depending how many projects they're involved in, they'll only see what's relevant to them effectively by this My Home page. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into a specific project. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm into projects, search for a project that I'm always spending time in, this one. So now I'm going to come into that specific project. And this is that kind of apartment or airport mixed use development that I often use. And once I come in here, this is showing me specific information specifically for this project. So it's showing me on this project that I have 3 overdue issues, I have 2 overdue RFIs. So again, this is feeding back into the My Home page. If I'm on 5 projects, obviously my overdue issues and overdue RFIs, that will feed back into that previous reporting dashboard that I look at for that user level. But again, this is specific to this project and specifically for me. So I can see my assigned work and then my project assigned work as part of that as well. And I can see, different overdue items. I can click into those 5 overdue RFIs. It can bring me into that as well. So this, I suppose an RFI typically for a site stage, going between designer and site worker or site person, for example. So I can see those 5 RFIs, and it's only showing me the RFIs that I need to see. There may be 255 on this project, but it's only showing me the ones that are relevant to me as part of that as well on this specific project. So again, I'm just going to come back into, not into My Home. My Home brings me back out. Again, I'm just going to come back into the home page inside this project. Apologies. And again, this is showing me just, immediate kind of reporting to me. Even shows me the weather if I need to know that, for example, and what's relevant to me. The iPad also and mobile devices, by the way, have a similar, when somebody logs in, they'll see something similar to this on a project as well. And on the home screen, it will show them the overdue issues, the RFIs as well. So if they're using a mobile device on site, which is obviously very typical for people on site, they will see this as part of that type of reporting in there as well. Again, that's at the user level. And different people on this project will see different items here. Obviously, someone else will have, 5 items overdue. Someone will have 54 in this case. Somebody might have 10, 15. So they'll only see what's relevant to them, and that's automatic. That customization is, because if you've assigned it to them or someone has assigned it to them, this will automatically update and this will automatically reflect inside here as well as part of that. So I'm not massively going to go in and out of these kind of elements here. But what I want to show you is some of the other reporting areas again at that project level. So what we looked at was the executive insight. There's also a project insight. If I go into insight here now, I can see that same reporting, but this is just at the project level. So again, this is another Power BI dashboard. This time it's for assets. I can see them on the project. I could also see them for the account if I fed that in as well. So again, this is a different Power BI dashboard feeding in different information just for this project. What I can look at here is I'll open this up just to show you what this looks at. Project level. So this is a commissioning dashboard effectively. So I can see, the doors that are installed, the water pumps are installed, the windows are 100% installed, or I can see the different statuses then, is it installed? I have, 40% of items are installed. Is something delivered? I can see 7% of items are delivered. So that's what I'm seeing here in the different colors inside here. And then I can see the individual units here as well. And again, this data is available in the platform. It's just being pushed again into this particular dashboard as part of that integration. So again, this is just the project level as what we looked at already in the executive dashboard as well. And again, I can customize these the same way. I can even customize the address. I can look at the project issues, coordination issues, approval workflows specific to this project. It even shows me kind of trends that have happened on the project. Maybe when the most number of design issues were generated, is there a correlation that you can then pull from that? Was there more people on site and there was more safety issues happening for a reason? Was it because of the weather? Again, was it because there were more people or organizations on site as well? So it's allowing you to then, I suppose, analyze that information, from a quality, safety, and just from a business operation point of view as well. And I can even see the number of issues by company as well. So I can see ABC Architects have 20 issues assigned against them. And typically I play the role of this kind of organization in this project. So I have 20 issues, design issues. So again, I can, come to ABC Architects, or I can come to Met People Limited and go, these 4 issues, they should be closed, or, is there any way we can help you to close those out, or, what's holding them up again as well. Again, all of these issues are being pulled from somewhere inside here, mainly from the build area. Again, if I come into issues, I come into the issues panel, and if I filter, if I come to assigned to, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter by company. So I'm going to filter by Met People Limited. So I should see. So I filter by Met People Limited, and it's showing me some of the issues that are available in here as part of build. There are other issues in the platform as well. But that's effectively, this is the information that's being pulled back into that dashboard anyway, is kind of what I want to say on that. And again, that's the insight panel, but that's at the project level as well. A lot of this is, it's out of the box functionality. Where the real customization comes into it is if you start using something like Power BI as well. But there's also other reporting that I'm going to be able to show you as well. And again, build those custom dashboards that suit your particular method of working, or who needs to see that information. Open RFIs, project RFIs. And again, I can see a trend of, when the RFIs were closed, and active RFIs over here as well. So these are quite useful as well, that I can see that, and the cost variation functionality as part of that as well. Just to make you aware, the cost trend is actually being pulled from the cost management module. This is part of Autodesk Build, just to make you aware, for tracking variations and requesting quotes and approving quotes, and approving budgets as well inside cost management. It's a huge part of the platform, and will feed into, if your project is running over budget, it will tell you in your dashboard. As part of that as well, I can build all of that into it. Also, again, more issues, quality issues, in this case, then safety issues. So we can see if there's a non-conformance report, is there an employee non-conformance, there's, client feedback. We can see lots of different types of issues, and I could, potentially come into this non-conformance and say, okay, well, what's happening here? It'll show me this issue. I can see additional details. And it will bring me into that particular issue as well. I can see then all of the non-conformances in here if I want to as well. I can just filter by category as part of that as well. And categories up here. So I might have a BCAR one, for example. These are all non-conformances. And again, this is what's feeding the reporting. So just to very, very quickly point out an issue, effectively to create an issue, I create an issue in here. An issue can be created on site, it can be created on a drawing, it can be created on a 3D model. I can generate an issue and assign it against someone. I can choose, Joe Plumber or whoever else, the fire safety consultant, assign that issue to them. And then this generation of the issue, that's what's feeding this insight panel. So there'll be an additional issue in there in your dashboard somewhere as part of that, effectively. So just to understand that, how issues work in the platform as well. I'm not going to hugely go into issues because it's slightly outside of reporting, just because we can go into it quite deep, but keep in mind that it's pulling that information in for you effectively as part of it. Excuse me. A drink of water there. So again, I'm inside this project, and this dashboard will have updated automatically from that issue that I generated in here as well. So issue number 39. This number is created unique. A new number is created sequentially every time an issue is generated. You'll never have two number 39 issues on a project. That's automatically managed in the platform as well. So again, you can go, okay, well, how's issue number 39 doing? There it is there. But I could also come back into my issues panel, and I could come in here and go to issue number 39 if I wanted. I'll see the exact same information. So that's probably on the first page. There's issue number 39. It's the exact same one there. All of this is what's being pushed into that reporting dashboard as part of that. So Again, what we've looked at there, we looked at a higher level. We've come down into the project level for this kind of out of the box reporting. We've looked at the Power BI reporting. Again, this information is being pulled from the project level, from our assets. Our assets are contained inside build, by the way. If I come into build very quickly, come into assets, that's what's reporting in that dashboard for me effectively. So this dashboard in particular is relevant to this one here. So these are all my different, windows and doors or mechanical items that have been installed or not installed, depending what it is. This is an AH2. Click on that, and I can see different references. So again, this is feeding that dashboard effectively. Is the way to understand that. So lots of automatic connections are built into reporting, which saves you having to manage a lot of that kind of functionality as part of that as well. So we've looked at the kind of dashboards again at that project level. What I wanted to show you next is I'll call this the PDF reporting or the static reporting. So you can pull static reports because obviously from an auditing perspective, you want to pull a report on every Monday morning or Friday evening or whatever the case is. You want to be able to pull reports and you want to be able to put them in your commandant environment and say, that's a frozen point in time. These were the safety issues on that date at that time. You need that from an auditing perspective. And, if anything goes wrong with the project, you need to be able to refer back to that as well. So then the reporting functionality, separate to what we've looked at, is also available in the platform. So this Autodesk Docs and Autodesk Build has this reporting functionality inside here. But just to explain how the reporting works. So what I see here is you can see these are all PDFs. This is an Excel document. These are all different reports that I've generated at different points in time. A couple of different ways to generate a report. So I could come in here and I could look at any of these. I could look at any of these reports. I can download them. I can come in here. I can go download report. I can download that report and showing me. In this case, it's showing me RFI report. 14th of April, 8 o'clock. So this is an automatic report that I generate. These are all the photographs associated with that RFI, any of the activity. So this is a PDF, so you can save this for safekeeping effectively. What the reports also do is they have hyperlinks built into them. So if someone receives this report, the CEO or someone, and they're not necessarily in the project, all they need to do, as long as you've given them access to the project, is they go, okay, well, what's going on with this RFI? They click on the RFI, the link item, and it brings them into the platform as long as they've been given access to it. And it will specifically bring them into the RFI, and they can go, okay, well, why, what's the delay on this? Who's been involved in this? They can see who's involved in the RFI, all the different people, architect, art consultant. They can see all of that, and maybe they can even add in a comment if they want to as well. So the reporting, while it is a static PDF, it has that hyperlinking built into it as well. Is the key thing with that. So this report was for an RFI. I also have one for forms. So I can download this one. This is all of my forms at this point in time. This is 3rd of February 2023. I can see all of my forms, all of my photographs associated with those forms. This is all automatic, by the way. And what I mean by automatic is I can build a template of a report, and I can say, okay, well, I want that report to run, every day, for example. So this RFI report, this will schedule. So if we come into this, I run this RFI report, and it's based on any RFIs that are gone past their due date. So all I've done is build a filter, due date, overdue, and what I do is I just save that template. It's based on RFIs. It's going to be a PDF version of that. So what I can actually look at is if I come in here and if I go to edit schedule, if I look at this, so I have this running on a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. That's what those items are. It runs at 8 o'clock on those days. I can run it every day if I really want to. If I really want to annoy people, Saturday and Sunday as well if I really want to. So it's going to run on all of these days. I could also run it, every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks if I want to as well, or monthly as well, depending on the function of the report. So this report is pulling in from this template based on those filters, but it's only looking for RFI overdue items. It could be issue overdue items. What it will then do in that list is I can choose the recipient list of that. I can say, okay, well, maybe I filtered it by company. I only want people in MEC People Limited to receive their overdue RFIs. Or I could say, maybe the main contractor as well, or subcontractor as part of it as well. And I can choose a company. I can say, okay, well, fire safety, solid structures, they need to receive this report as well. So this report generates every day. So if the RFIs have been opened or closed, that report will automatically update, and they'll receive that updated report every single day. So again, that automation is very, very powerful. I'm signed up to lots of reports. Some of them are empty on a day. Some of them are, have multiple items inside it as well. So that's just for RFIs, but I can do that for lots of other information. I can schedule, form report, for example. I can see, okay, well, I want to see all the forms that have been generated in the past 2 weeks as well. So effectively, the reports is quite extensive because it's built on any information that I have in here, really. It can be issues, it can be forms, it can be assigned items by a company. So I could say, I want to generate a report for ABC Architects every day, and I want you to send them that report every day. So that means you're effectively reminding them of what they need to address on a daily basis, and therefore they're going to be inclined, I expect, or incentivized to action those items, because then the report will be updated the next day automatically if they closed out the items that they needed to close out as well, based on these filters. So I am just showing these filters at a high level. There's a lot more you can go into in terms of the filters, but I just wanted to point out you can get quite customized with these out of the box PDF forms as well. The reports can also be, if I just come into edit template. What I'm going to do is, some of the reports can be in Excel format as well, by the way. What I'm just looking for is I'm in template, by the way. So if I, for example, issue detail, no, that one's just, some of them are PDF, some of them are Excel. Again, I can build another custom report out of that as well. So I think the cost ones, let me see here, the cost ones can be PDF or Excel, depending on the type of data in it. That could be an Excel report rather than a PDF report. And that automatically generates, will email to those people, but every time it generates, it comes into the reports log. It will be available in here. So you can see there's the RFI report, 5th of April, 7th of April, 10th of April. These reports may contain, a different number of RFIs each day as well. So again, they're scheduled. That's what you're seeing there with those RFIs. Asset detailed, different types of reports in here as well. So that in itself is quite extensive as well. As part of that reporting, again, you have your reports log. So this is the recording of the report, and then you have the templates that are built outside of that as well. And then, if I've lots of reports, I can come in here, I can filter on the reports and go, okay, well, I just want the issue details or the RFI details or the RFI summary report. If I have one, I have one, and the RFI detail. So summary report is just high level information. A detailed report is going to give you all photographs associated with it and lots of different types of information that are associated as part of that report as well. It just depends on the template that you choose as well. But I'd recommend you have a look a bit deeper at that as well, because the reporting is quite extensive. Obviously, I've only a certain amount of time this morning as part of that. But again, what I've looked at there is just come into the report section here on the left-hand side, and that's again at the project level. So the final thing I want to show you is what I looked at there was scheduling reports. I can run on-demand reports as well. I can go, okay, well, I need a report immediately. I don't want to schedule it. It has to happen now. I can come in then and go, okay, well, I want all issue reports, and I can immediately run this report. I can filter on, maybe we've a subcontractor or someone who has a lot of items outstanding against them. I can filter it on location. I can go, okay, well, I only want to see unit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or zone 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can run that report and it's going to filter on those locations as well. And I could further filter on assigned to, and I can say, I'll pick on the architect for now, run that report. And I can either schedule it or I'm going to run it once. That report is now going to generate. It may take a minute or 2 minutes. What you'll see happen is you'll see it appear in here. I'll also get an email as well once it's been generated. And with the reports, I can also share them from inside here. I can select other project members and I can put in external email addresses in here as well. So if someone can receive that report as part of that as well. So all of that's built in there. I can even put in a little message if I really wanted to turn off this filter. What you'll see now is this report is generating at the top, issue detail, 14th of April, there we go. So what I can do is I download that report, it's already ready. You can look in here. There's all of my issues, and it's based on location and only issues in these locations assigned to the architects. So I can see all of these issues in here. Gives me a contents page, and I can actually click on this issue, and it will bring me down to item number 68. It will even show me on a drawing where that's happened on the site, and you know, any comments again. So quite extensive. That's a huge, you know, that's a 58-page report generated in about 20 seconds, so or less even if you have it automated. So that's that reporting. Again, there is a lot more in there, so keep that in mind. You know, my form reporting is obviously important, quality, safety, build filters based on that if you want. Now, the final report element I'm going to show you is inside the platform itself. I'm going to come into the kind of project level effectively. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my forms area inside this particular project. I'm going to come into this forms area. And what I can also do is I can generate a report from inside here without having to go into the report section. And the reason I do that, so wherever you see the button in the platform that says export all, that actually means generate a report. So if I come into issues instead, I just want to show you that same button. If I come into issues and go export all, that's a report. If I come into RFIs and if I see the export button, that's a report. That's going to generate a report. So what I intend, or what I want to help you understand from that is, if I build a filter in here, so if I go, okay, well, I immediately want to see, you know, all forms that have been submitted, and, you know, I want to see them for Terra 1, I can apply a filter in there. So it will just filter on them, and it's only showing me checklists from Terra 1. If I go export filtered, now I can immediately generate an on-demand report. So this is doing the same thing that I can do in here, by the way. It's just another place of doing it, because it may be easier for you to build a filter in here and go, okay, I need to generate a report. And then what happens is that report will be available in here for me. So it may still be generating. So again, it's at the top there, it's still generating. That's what's happening there. Oh, moment. It may just take a moment to update. Let me see the template type. So I'm just going to go over commissioning. Export all. So we'll generate that one. So again, this is another report. It's going to pull those 40 forms, all from the commissioning category, and it's going to populate the reports there as well. So what happens now is, you know, that report is available in the reports log. It's captured, it's recorded, and you can share it. You can, you know, download it. You can save it wherever you want into your Common Data environment. But effectively, it's inside here as well for the length of your project, or the length of you know, however long you have access to the platform. So we'll let that generate, and I'll just come back into reports for a moment. So that form that detail report is now generating as part of that. So I'll let that function in there. Again, that's just an on-demand report. That report's now available. You can download that report, and it's going to show me all the forms. In this case, it's based on commissioning. This is a huge report, as you can see. This is all draft forms. It's a 98-page report, and I can see photographs again. I can see the questions that were answered. You know, did it pass, you know, building regulations? If there's an issue, oh, there's a non-conformance, what happened here? I can click on that. It will bring me into the platform, into that issue. I can investigate that issue then in more detail here on the right-hand side, and I can see what it's associated with. And again, what we looked at earlier, an assets dashboard, I can associate an issue with an asset. So in this case, the unit was an asset, which is a space or a room or a hotel room or, you know, apartment scheme, or a unit then has items associated with it as well, or can have items. It shows me the status of this. I can change the status of this to go, okay, well, you know, that's ready for handover. This will then update my report, but it will also update my Power BI dashboard as well. So again, what I'm trying to get across there is the connectivity across the platform that happens automatically as well. That's of huge benefit. Whether you're the design team, whether you're subcontractors, main contractors, you know, whatever stage you're working at on a construction or civil engineering project, Autodesk Construction Cloud has a huge amount of out-of-the-box reporting, as well as that kind of customization reporting as well. you don't have to use Power BI as well. You could pull that raw CSV data into any system that you're already using as well. You're not obliged to use Power BI as well. So, you know, there's huge value and benefits in that, because not everyone's going to use Power BI effectively. So that's effectively it on reporting. I covered as much as I possibly could. There's obviously more detail we could have gone into, but obviously given time, I'm not going to be able to. But hopefully that was of benefit, and I'll answer a couple of these questions now. Okay, so Sarah has asked, where can you download the cost management add-in? So the cost management add-in, if you have a subscription to Autodesk Build, then the cost management add-in is available to you. If you're an admin on the project, then you can just come in here. You can choose on, you know, the person's name. You just turn it on then. So I can turn it on or off for a user. You know, the person may not need the access to cost management. So it should be available at the project level in members. If you haven't purchased it, it will say unpurchased, and you just won't be able to turn it on. So we can obviously provide licenses if you want to as well. So if that's needed. So again, if you want to check your subscriptions, go into My Home, drop down your name and go to My Subscriptions, and this will tell you what licenses you have. Autodesk Build, and you can see cost management in there. Okay. Okay, I'll try answer this one, Paul. Hi, Paul. I might look at that one in more detail. It's sorry. Paul's query is about, you know, as a mechanical installer, about tracking the installation of pumps across different buildings on one site from a reporting perspective. There's definitely some sort of solution that we could look into in more detail there, Paul, down to the reporting as well. What I need to do is just test it before I commit to say yes or whether it can or can't do it. But I think we could certainly get fairly close to that as well. And what I've seen done for pharma projects is using the assets feature for what you've described there. So the assets feature, if I come into assets, if you have a length of pipe, you know, being pulled from Plant 3D, you can create assets based on items. So in this case, this is just a radiator. If I click on this radiator was extracted from a BIM model, from a Revit model in this case. So I can bring in a model. I can tell it what assets to pull out of that model. So in this case, I pulled out all the radiators. I also pulled out all the doors. But you could potentially do the same for lengths of pipe for pumps. And then what you're doing on, you know, those items, if I click on an AHU, or do we have a pump here? I might have a pump here. There's a pump. I can just, if someone updates this information and says it's, well, that's pre-startup, it's pre-functional, it's accepted, it's post-accepted, you can change that information. You can customize these statuses, by the way. These are just out of the box ones. You can fully customize that to suit whatever it is you want to report on as part of that as well. So potentially a solution there that we can certainly look at, Paul. We can organize something in the next week or so, certainly. Okay. Brilliant. Lots of great dashboards, or great questions about dashboards there. Paul, I think let's chat offline, and we can certainly discuss that further. But hopefully that was useful to people. If you have access to even Autodesk Docs, come into Docs and use the reporting to just, you know, suit your project, suit your type of business, you know, whatever it is, even if it's for your own reporting, just maybe on issues or design issues. Start using it at that kind of level as well, and then see how far you can push it. So I think I'll leave it for there today, but really appreciate all your time. Thanks a million for everything, and have a great weekend.